I toil at the heart of an ancient school, entrusted with overseeing the enigmatic structure known as the Music Hall. This venerable institution, steeped in history, conceals within its walls stories that transcend the ordinary. The narrative I encountered, however, plunged me into the depths of sorrow and unveiled the haunting intersection of music and tragedy. As the night descended, the music hall transformed into a melancholic sanctuary. Alone, I navigated its halls, drowning in the weight of paperwork and mundane tasks. One day, an unusual assignment beckoned me to the heart of the mystery, the instrument room, a place where the harmonious strains of melodies mingled with the sorrowful echoes of bygone tales. Upon entering the instrument room, a peculiar atmosphere enveloped me. The room, adorned with hanging instruments, seemed to breathe with a somber energy. Among them, an aged violin caught my eye, emanating a desolate aura that spoke of countless untold sorrows. With a hesitant touch, I caressed the violin's withered strings, triggering an unexpected metamorphosis. A gentle breeze swept through the room, as if the very air held the ghostly whispers of sorrowful melodies. The aged violin, now a vessel of mournful tales, became a conduit between the corporeal and the ethereal. As the mournful melodies echoed, the room's temperature plummeted. A spectral mist coalesced, giving rise to a figure resembling a melancholic composer. The musician, with hollow eyes, reached for the violin, and a heart-rending symphony unfurled in the air, weaving tales of sorrow and loss. The musician's mournful gaze pierced my soul, and an unbearable sorrow filled the room. I felt compelled to join this ethereal orchestra, a reluctant participant in a symphony of tragedy. The violin strings resonated with tales of lost love, shattered dreams, and the unbearable weight of unspoken grief. Haunted by the spectral melodies, I attempted to leave the room, only to find the door mysteriously locked. The temperature dropped further, and the mournful composer's eyes fixated on me. The sorrowful symphony intensified, and I became entangled in an otherworldly performance, a captive audience to the tragedy unfolding. Desperation enveloped me, and I succumbed to the haunting melodies, realizing that this was no ordinary musical encounter. The room transformed into a surreal stage where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural blurred. The ethereal composer spoke, "You've unlocked the door to the music of tragedy. Now, you shall bear witness to its unfolding." When I returned to reality, the instrument room had vanished, and the mournful melodies lingered in the air. The violin, now silent, left me with an overwhelming sense of loss. I realized that I had become an unwitting player in a tragic symphony, forever haunted by the echoes of a melody that spoke of sorrow, tragedy, and the ephemeral nature of enchantment. The school, with its ancient walls, held secrets that transcended time. The vanished melody became a part of me, an indelible scar etched upon my soul. The music hall, forever enchanted, stood as a testament to the tragic harmony that unfolded within its hallowed halls. In the dimly lit workshop of an auto repair shop, the rhythmic hum of machinery served as a constant companion to Joe, a skilled mechanic. Night after night, he found himself alone, entrusted with the responsibility of overseeing the warehouse's silent vigil. Little did he know that the routine of processing orders and tracking inventory would take a chilling turn on a rainy night, revealing a crime in progress that would shatter the tranquility of his nocturnal routine. The night began like any other, with the steady beat of raindrops on the metal roof. Joe immersed himself in the monotonous tasks, occasionally glancing at the surveillance monitors that flickered with distorted images of the warehouse. Unbeknownst to him, a shadowy figure had infiltrated the workshop, blending seamlessly with the darkness that clung to the corners. As Joe meticulously processed orders at his cluttered desk, a creak echoed through the workshop. The sound, barely audible over the rain's percussion, sent a shiver down his spine. Glancing towards the source, Joe dismissed it as a mere creak of the aging building, unaware that it was the first note in a symphony of crime. With orders still pending, Joe decided to investigate the workshop. The flickering fluorescent lights cast eerie shadows as he navigated through the maze of cars and spare parts. The rhythmic tapping of rain persisted, creating an atmospheric tension that heightened Joe's senses. As Joe approached the rear of the workshop, he spotted the shadowy figure bent over a toolbox. Panic set in, and Joe's heart raced as he realized he stood just a few feet away from the intruder. The intruder, oblivious to Joe's presence, continued rifling through the tools, an accomplice in a silent dance of thievery. The realization that he could become a victim in this clandestine act paralyzed Joe. He debated whether to confront the intruder or retreat silently. The air thickened with tension as Joe grappled with the uncertainty of the intruder's intentions. The rain outside seemed to echo the turmoil within Joe's mind. Just as Joe mustered the courage to confront the intruder, a chilling realization struck him. The intruder, now standing upright, turned slowly toward him. In the dim light, Joe saw a face, or rather, a featureless mask that sent shivers down his spine. The faceless intruder's cold gaze pierced Joe's soul, and a voice, as cold as the rain-soaked metal, murmured, "You were never alone in the shadows, Joe. I've been here, listening to your every move." Paralyzed by fear, Joe witnessed the intruder vanish into the night. The rain continued its relentless descent, washing away the intruder's ephemeral presence. The workshop, once a haven of familiarity, now harbored an unsettling truth that shadows held more than just discarded car parts. They concealed silent observers with unknown intentions. I had just returned home after a long day at the office, seeking solace on the couch with a movie playing. The storm outside added a dramatic touch to the Friday night, making it an ideal time to unwind and watch TV late into the night. The window curtains were open, allowing me to catch glimpses of the occasional lightning, a rare occurrence in my usually dry neighborhood. As the night progressed, around midnight, my attention shifted from the movie to something peculiar outside my window. Across the street, a figure emerged from the rain-soaked darkness, a man without a hood or coat, completely drenched. He walked towards a house, stood on the porch, and seemed to be waiting for someone to answer the door. After a minute, he retraced his steps back to the sidewalk and continued down the street. The sight left me with an uneasy feeling. It wasn't normal for someone to be wandering around and approaching people's houses in the middle of the night, especially in such weather. Concerned, I closed the curtains, hoping to avoid any potential interaction if the man decided to come my way. 15 minutes later, a sound outside disrupted the quietude of my home. Someone was walking up my driveway, approaching the front door, but there was no knock or doorbell. The footsteps echoed across my porch, near the windows, and back to the door. Confused and curious, I hesitated to investigate, fearing that the intruder might hear me. After a minute of eerie silence, I cautiously approached the door. To my shock, the man from earlier stood at the edge of my porch, staring blankly at the door. I watched him for a few seconds before a creeping sense of dread prompted me to step back. As I pondered my next move, the footsteps resumed, departing from my doorstep. I looked out again, and he was gone. Despite the man's departure, a lingering sense of unease compelled me to contact the police. This behavior was far from normal, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The police assured me they would send an officer to patrol the neighborhood and address the situation. Feeling somewhat relieved, I returned to the couch, but the whole incident had left me on edge. My attempt to enjoy a relaxing night had been disrupted, and exhaustion weighed heavily on me. I powered down everything, headed upstairs, and settled into bed. However, as I turned off the lights, a loud thump echoed from downstairs. Alarmed, I sat up, and the sound repeated, a forceful impact against the front door. I rushed to the top of the stairs and witnessed the door violently shaking with each hit. Someone was trying to break in, relentlessly striking the door. Terrified, I retreated to the bedroom, locked the door, and called the police again. The operator assured me that an officer was in the vicinity and would arrive shortly. However, the sounds of splintering wood and the door slamming against the ground reached my ears before the officer's arrival. Footsteps hurriedly traversed the downstairs, invading every room without pause. The intruder began ascending the stairs, but abruptly halted when the officer arrived. The tension escalated as the intruder darted for the back door, encountering difficulties as the officer gave chase. The officer managed to apprehend the intruder, a man who, upon closer inspection, appeared deranged. The intruder remained silent, refusing to utter a single word, and was swiftly taken away by the police. Further investigation revealed that the intruder carried a heavy hammer and had zip ties in his pocket, suggesting malicious intent. The timely intervention of the police, prompted by my initial call, likely prevented a more severe outcome. While the motive behind targeting my house remained unclear, the incident underscored the importance of prompt action and vigilance in the face of unexpected threats.